Well, hello there, my lovely friends. Grab yourself a tall glass of sweet iced tea or a warm cup of coffee and come sit with me on the porch for a spell. Today is a gorgeous Tuesday. The sun is shining bright, but the clouds are certainly gathering over our favorite folks in Port Charles. We have so much to catch up on, and my heart is just full to the brim with all this drama. I have been sitting here just thinking about our dear Portia Robinson, and my heart just aches for that woman. Bless her heart, she is in the final, heavy stages of her pregnancy, and anyone who has ever carried a child knows exactly how exhausting those last few weeks can be. Your ankles are swollen, your back aches with every step, and all you want in the world is a little bit of peace and quiet to prepare for the beautiful new life coming into your home. But peace and quiet seem to be the absolute last things on the menu for the Ashford family right now. Instead of resting and glowing with that sweet maternal anticipation, Portia is caught right in the middle of a raging storm, and it looks like things are going to get a whole lot scarier before they get better. You see, the tension in that household is thick enough to cut with a butter knife. Curtis Ashford, a man who usually tries so hard to protect his family, has gone and made a terrible, life-altering mistake. We all know about the horrific physical altercation he had with Isaiah Gannon. Curtis completely lost his temper, letting his absolute worst impulses take over, and he ended up breaking poor Isaiah's arm. Now, I understand that a father and a husband has a natural instinct to protect his territory, but heavens to Betsy, violence is never the answer. Now Curtis is facing a brutal criminal trial, with Assistant District Attorney Justine Turner breathing down his neck and refusing to offer any sort of plea deal. The man is staring down the barrel of a prison sentence, and this cloud is hanging right over Portia's nursery. And then there is sweet Trina, our beautiful, talented girl who is just trying to find her way in the world. My heart breaks into a million little pieces when I think about how much pressure this young woman is under. She has her big art show coming up, a moment that should be entirely about her hard work and her brilliant future. But instead of celebrating, Trina is watching her parents' lives unravel. She has finally reached her breaking point and has decided to take a step back from her mother and father. Can you imagine the pain of a child feeling like she has to distance herself from the people who gave her life just to protect her own sanity? It is a tragedy, plain and simple. Trina is caught between a rock and a hard place, wanting to support her mother, but absolutely exhausted by the endless cycle of drama and violence that her father has brought to their doorstep. All of this stress came to a boiling point at what was supposed to be a joyous occasion. A baby shower is a deeply cherished American tradition, a time for women to gather, share their wisdom, eat little finger sandwiches, and shower the expectant mother with love and tiny little onesies. But Portia's baby shower turned into an absolute disaster. Jordan Ashford, who has a history of stirring the pot, whether she means to or not, attended the gathering, and it erupted into a fiery public confrontation. Instead of opening gifts and playing silly guessing games, Portia found herself defending her family, fighting for her dignity, and dealing with an overwhelming surge of negative emotions. It is enough to make anyone's blood pressure skyrocket, let alone a woman who is ready to pop at any moment. Now, my dear friends, all of these puzzle pieces are coming together to create a truly terrifying medical emergency for our Portia. The rumors and the whispers around town are telling us that Portia is going to face yet another massive heated confrontation, whether she finally completely loses her temper with Curtis over his reckless behavior, or she finds herself in another bitter shouting match with Jordan. The result is going to be explosive. We all know that extreme emotional distress can trigger physical trauma. And for a woman in her third trimester, a screaming match is the absolute last thing she needs. I can just picture it now, the raised voices, the tears of frustration, the heavy, desperate breathing, and then the sudden, sharp shock of pain. I firmly believe that this upcoming argument is going to be the exact trigger that sends Portia into sudden, premature labor. It is a classic, dramatic turn of events that we have seen happen to so many poor souls. One minute you are arguing about the future, and the next minute your water breaks right there on the living room floor. The sheer panic that must wash over a mother in that moment is unimaginable. Portia is a brilliant doctor herself. She knows all the risks, she knows all the complications, and she knows exactly how dangerous a high-stress delivery can be. The irony of a medical professional experiencing a medical crisis outside of her own hospital is just too rich, and it adds such a thick layer of terror to the whole situation. Because the labor is going to be brought on by such intense emotional trauma, it is not going to be a slow, manageable process. The contractions are going to come on fast and hard, leaving Portia completely breathless and doubled over in agonizing pain. There simply will not be enough time to gently pack an overnight bag, get into the car, and take a smooth drive down to General Hospital. Oh no, my friends, they are going to be caught completely off guard. Portia is going to find herself trapped, unable to make it to the sterile, safe environment of the maternity ward. She is going to have to give birth in a highly inconvenient, unsanitary, and deeply dangerous location. Just imagine the sheer terror of having to deliver a fragile newborn baby outside of a hospital setting. Whether they are stuck in a broken down elevator, stranded on the side of a rainy road, or just trapped on their own living room floor, the fear is going to be paralyzing. Curtis, for all his faults and all his recent mistakes, is going to have to step up in a way he never imagined. He is going to have to push aside his impending legal doom and focus entirely on keeping his wife and his child alive. Portia will be terrified for her baby's life. Without monitors, without emergency equipment, and without her trusted colleagues by her side, every single second will feel like an eternity. The pain of childbirth is monumental on its own, but combined with the fear of losing the child, it is enough to break a person's spirit. I am praying with all my might that despite the terrifying circumstances, this precious little baby comes into the world screaming and healthy. We all want to hear that beautiful, strong first cry that tells a mother her child is safe. A new baby is supposed to be a beacon of hope, a fresh start. I truly hope that when Trina sees her new little sibling, it melts the ice around her heart. A tiny, innocent baby has a magical way of making all the adult arguments seem so foolish and small. This child could be the very glue that puts the shattered Ashford family back together, reminding Curtis of what he has to lose and giving Portia the strength to forgive. But hold on to your hats, my friends, because just when you think the storm has passed and the rainbow is coming out, the absolute unthinkable is going to happen. The writers are setting us up for a twist that makes my blood run cold just thinking about it. We are hearing strong whispers that Marshal Ashford, Curtis's father, is making his way back to Port Charles. Now, Marshal has always been a complicated man with a deeply troubled past and a mind that sometimes plays terrible tricks on him. And the word on the street is that Marshal is going to do something so devastating, so completely unforgivable, that it will change this family forever. There is a very real, very terrifying possibility that Marshal is going to steal Portia and Curtis's newborn baby. Lord have mercy. Just saying those words out loud gives me the shivers. Why on earth would a grandfather do such a wicked thing? Well, if we look at the situation through Marshal's eyes, his son is facing a brutal trial and is likely going to prison for a violent assault. Marshal's mind might twist this reality into a paranoid delusion that the baby is not safe in Curtis's home. He might truly, deeply believe that he is rescuing the infant from a life of trauma and disgrace. It is a misguided, tragic thought process born out of mental anguish and a desperate need to protect his bloodline. Can you even begin to fathom the absolute soul-crushing nightmare of surviving a dangerous, out-of-hospital birth, finally holding your beautiful baby in your arms, only to wake up and find the crib completely empty? Portia's screams of agony would echo through the entire town. A mother's grief in that moment is a primal, earth-shattering force. She will have fought through the pain, the fear, and the chaos to bring that child into the world, only to have her own father-in-law snatch the baby away in the dead of night. It is the ultimate betrayal, an act so cruel that it defies all logic and reason. This catastrophic kidnapping will spell absolute disaster for Curtis. The man is already drowning in legal troubles, fighting for his freedom after breaking Isaiah's arm. Now, he will be thrust into a frantic, desperate manhunt to find his own father and save his newborn child. The guilt will completely consume him. Curtis will inevitably blame himself, realizing that his own violent actions and the resulting chaos created the exact environment that triggered his father's paranoid break. The police, who are already investigating Curtis, will now be swarming his life for an entirely different, much more tragic reason. And let us not forget about poor Isaiah in all of this. He is sitting there with a broken arm, trying to heal from an unprovoked attack, and now he will be dragged right back into the Ashford family's endless nightmare. The ripple effects of this kidnapping will touch everyone. Trina, who stepped back to protect her peace, will be violently pulled back into the trauma, forced to watch her mother completely lose her mind with grief. The hope that the baby would heal the family will be instantly replaced by a horrifying void. It is a story of profound heartbreak, my friends. We watch these folks go through the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, and we cannot help but shed a tear for them. Portia is a strong, capable woman, but no mother should ever have to endure the physical trauma of an emergency birth followed by the psychological torture of a stolen child. We will just have to keep them in our thoughts and prayers and tune in every single day to see how this tragic, beautiful, and absolutely chaotic story unfolds. Stay strong, hold your loved ones tight, and let us hope that the light eventually finds its way back to Port Charles.